seen it all the time. Then Dust 2 comes out and the Mirage Decider. So I think it's a map pool where really Renegades could potentially do some damage, being put on the CT side early on here on their map pick. And well, Hat's going to be under pressure immediately. CZ good for one and the second before the trade. It's actually Alistair who gets himself the first, but man advantage still there for Renegades. Rotations can start to come in, but it's Searson. The frag onto Alistair opens up the bomb site, and we need some quick rotations from the CT side.
We do indeed, and well, they've gotten over towards Moto, at least in those initial moments. Obviously not able to put a stop to the bomb plant as it goes down, so a bit of time now being given for Big to set themselves up on the after plant. And if Malta goes down on short, at that point they'll have lost all control, and no, he doesn't. Actually immediately able to take Xantares with him, but Tabson in on the trade and in on the dinks towards long as well, as suddenly it's all left on Inns, the man who you said has been having some good moments, but he's not able to do much in that 1-on-2 with barely any life to his name. So it is going to be the pistol round going the way of Big, and well, Tabson, he's one of the players you want showing up, and he comes in with a massive quad kill immediately in that pistol round.
Yeah, I mean, he's just made everything I said in the pregame sound like rubbish, hasn't he? Huge quad kill to open things up, really looking hot on the server initially and putting the pressure straight onto Renegades. I think that's something Big are definitely going to be looking to do throughout this best of 3 series, just piling the pressure on that Australian roster, right? Don't give them any room to breathe. Don't give them any chances to get into these games, and that'll be where we see Big playing their best CS. So it is down to the force buy. Never a particularly good look on a CT side. You get a handful of deagles. Inns picks up the P250 to try and get a little extra utility, but I mean, the T-side buys, they are just so lethal. AK, couple of Galils. Keto and Searson, got to imagine they'll be taking the aggressive plays with the MAC-10, and they've taken some early bracket control, hoping to force rotations, if not at least force the utility out, and they're going to back the bomb right out towards B.
Yeah, once the smoke starts to fade on long, there should at least be some info found for Alistair, but that won't be for another couple of seconds. And, well, if Big get a move on, they could make their way in before any rotations are available. The thing is, though, they still have a minute remaining, so there shouldn't really be too much of a rush to this commitment right now. There's still a few nades left on the CT side as well. That could be an issue. And obviously, you know you're up against the force buy at this point, so you don't want to be walking into a stack without really too much info of your own to work with. So yeah, it looks like they're actually going to try and fake out B now a little bit at this point. Most of the players anyway are grouped up on mid, and well, as another smoke goes down on B, I don't know if they really want to be committing to this too much, but they've gone ahead and done the job that they were trying to, which was to keep a third player in position over on B. So it's going to be up to Hats alongside Sicko, who comes back in from long to try and hold off A, and well, so far not much being done. Sicko tucked in on the bomb site, he's going to need to come up huge. There's the first, but he's not able to hit the head of Xantares, as only a small bit of damage is connected, and well, yeah, as we can see, it's not really enough in this position. Malta and Inns are going to be forced to back away, and I mean, at least they're going to have a little bit to save over, but obviously it is going to have to be Renegades looking at the eco in the next round. And so far, a pretty clean one here from Big. They could still afford to send those SMGs out to try and actually hunt it down, so they could technically still lose another couple of players.
Yeah, this is the concerning thing, I think. Nice and clean from Big, looking pretty hot on their frags, not really giving Renegades anything at all. Malta and Inns will see what they can get, but arguably just looking to save the armor, because this next round is going to be a full eco, so anything they can take forward, right? Maybe the Deagle of Malta can get something done. We've seen him have some moments so far in Pro League. Something to just put that T side on the back foot initially. You really need a spark on your CT side at the moment with the meta as it is to get yourself back into things. Tabson continuing to impress into the second round. Against those CT force buys, a little more understandable. The AK is going to truly wreak havoc, but this is where Big will start to build their cash, start to build their economy. They're going to stick Keto and Searson onto those MAC-10s for a little while longer. You've got 3 players without any armor at all, so they can just mow through those initial frags, build themselves up a little bit of bank, see if Searson can maybe get himself onto the AWP in round number 4, and from there, look to build your half. Keto fast up Banana, taking that control very proactively. Pop flashes over the top for him as well. I thought he was going to fully commit for a moment there, but instead, just bleeding that smoke out as Xantares does actually open things up. Alistair looking for some kind of pick down mid, trying to get any aggression he can going. Not going to land, though. And again, Renegades find themselves with that early man disadvantage. No real information on where this hit's coming from. It's a little more understandable in this round, but it's definitely something they're going to look to correct as the rifles start to come out.
Yeah, I mean, killing Alistair, only the first step to winning the round, of course. Pun completely intended. But against these pistols, I don't think they're really going to struggle with the rest of them, especially as they just walk in towards B. Smoke down in the spawn keeps all of the players who were stacked up around the area from doing anything, and, well, it looked like the SMGs were just going to hunt this down and feed up money with no casualties, but there is at least one kill to be found there from Malta. Not a big deal, though. I mean, what, there was one kill in the previous round as well, one kill in that round right there, so obviously not much money is lost at all for Big. They can keep a few of those weaker weapons now and come straight into the bonus round on this first gun round on their T side, which is absolutely fantastic. If they can make this one work, they're in a position to just really run away with this early lead. Obviously, online era, it's Inferno. It was a map that was already shifting away from being CT side. It has now gone over a bit towards that T side, so it's not the end of the world for Renegades by any means, but when you're in the position that Renegades are in, where you just haven't had any success throughout the season, you don't want to be starting slow.
Keto, well, he's going to look to keep piling on this pressure. Already all the way through bracket. Not going to clear the cubby, though. Little unfortunate. Alistair will get the freebie. The MAC-10 really just sent out as an early scout there, and the rest of the team going fast up Banana, taking a lot of Molotov damage, though, and Malta thinks about the spray through the smoke, goes for the reset. Wants to contest this Banana control. All 4 players for Big Clan over here, but no CT really getting aggressive over on Ace. There's not going to be any info. Molotov to force Malta off the angle, and again, Big meticulously taking that map control. They've taken a lot of damage, though, and that's going to start to be a little bit of a problem here, because no real info either. You want to bail out of this, want to see if there's been any aggression elsewhere on the map from Renegades, so going to clear their way bottom mid up towards bracket. CT side, happy to let them have it, and I mean, with the lack of utility, you can't blame them, right? 2 smokes, a flash, and a molly, make it 1 smoke as it goes out. Zico, nice shot. Tabson goes down, that's a critical pick as well, gives the information. He can reset on the angle comfortably. Jump peek will bait the shot out, but has to fall off, and now the rotations can start to come in for Renegades.
Yeah, but they're actually not going to be doing that yet. Not budging in their positions, I guess, in that much of a rush. There is only 20 seconds remaining, and I guess Big haven't exactly shown where that commitment is coming in, but with the time, it pretty much does have to be A. And, well, yeah, they actually end up moving very slowly up short, so getting caught instead by the flank of Alistair around from long, and Sicko on Moto has an easy shot on Tizian with that AWP. So, yeah, very smooth round from Renegades. They don't lose a player at all. We said that was the bonus approach from Big, but I don't know. I guess it was very ambitious trying to get Keto straight up and out long on his own with just the MAC-10. We're probably trying to get him around into Arch just so that MAC-10 could be a nuisance in the spawn, maybe set them up for a B split, or even just keep those long players and stuff preoccupied and allow for mid control to very easily then be exploited into other areas. But yeah, they didn't really get a chance to do that. They'd lost Keto, were left until a few seconds were left in the round, then pretty much with no opportunities being given to them by Renegades, who knew they just didn't have to go aggressive. So there it is. Can they keep it up is the question, because there is a full buy right back in, including the op, all the rifles, and, well, most of the nades that Big could ask for. They're not really lacking too much on that front. And in the early moments, Renegades, again, playing pretty passively, and Big, they're not going to as much of an extreme with this aggression. Just up Banana, get themselves that control. There'll be loads of time left if they want to go back and take control around the mid brackets as well. We'll see what Renegades decide to do with that 3-man stack they had in place. Actually calling it off, I was thinking maybe we were going to see some counter aggression with a flash over. And we do see the flash, but that's just more so to keep Big on their toes.
Have to wait and see how they look to plan out the execute. Toying with the angles. Left Keto posted. Try and get what information he can. They're going to group back again. Going to take over that bracket portion. Again, as you said, Renegades very passive. Not really contested Banana control at all. And as the nades come over the top, at least for now, they've got the right stack. 3 players on this A-bomb site. Counter utility. They want to post Sicko again. They want to try and get him up short. Aggressive control, but Big are bailing out. Keto and no aggression up Banana. He's just going to call that they should probably hit this site. 20 seconds left though. That Molotov starts to make the timings very awkward indeed. Alistair going to dump all the utility he can. Molotov goes in to try and stall this one out again. And with 15 seconds left, Big can't really afford to hang around for this. They're trying to save their smoke, but it's going to take them down. 10 seconds and they're only just heading into this bomb site. Alistair, free reign, gets traded 1-for-1. Bomb trying to go down inside the smoke. It will land. It's awkward. They at least get it down and Tizian finds 2 in response, keeping his team's hopes alive in this round. They've got no health, 50 between the 2 of them. It's going to be on to Searson on that AWP to really have an impact here. Sicko starting to clear things out of this bomb site. Tizian has posted himself well. It's an awkward angle to kill here. The pop flash baits in and Searson finds the frag perfectly. Sicko left 1v2, and I don't know if he even considers this. The damage isn't necessarily confirmed. He's trying to get out of dodge. Big, with literally no time left on the clock, and managing to make this round stick. It will be a fourth for their T side, and they want to try and hunt this Hawk down. Missed flick from Sicko. Tizian's desperate to try and take it out of his hands.
Don't think he's going to get it. Yeah, Sicko should be fine. He's backed off onto the bomb site. But yeah, that round was just crazy. Honestly, this double spray down looking like it was about to come true, but then Malta just gets wrecked. He ended up getting himself the one kill, of course, but the trades were there. Big are able to make it work. And despite Searson and Tizian both being on the brink of death at that point, they just play it well off of each other with the bait and switch, as you said, for Searson to catch that first player coming through the spawn. And yeah, Sicko, he did confirm the op over. We get to see that here as the round starts. He drops over a rifle. They're able to scrape together another buy thanks to some loss bonus still being there. But I mean, yeah, you're down 4-1 already here in the initial moments, and we do need to remember this is Renegade's pick. One positive was Big actually came in with the Dust 2 pick. We didn't get to do a lot of discussion about it, but that's the other map that Renegades have been going towards a little bit as well during the season. So I think they've got into spots for their own comfort, but I mean, Big are also going to be very comfortable on the lineup of maps that we've had come out. Sicko, this Opto, obviously, as I said, it was saved over in the previous round. I was going to say if he could find some initial impact for Renegades, it would be huge. But he falls back from the apps just as they creep forward. And well, with that, I was going to say they might get caught off guard, but no. Hats was ready for Tizian. Sicko then prepared for Xantars, who attempts at least to follow that up and get a trade. But instead, they are shut out and suddenly Big in a very difficult 3-on-5 to recover, with Tabson also heavily tagged up.
Yeah, that banana damage really starts to become critical. Tabson, the early nades, goes down to 10 HP. Big. Gonna bail out of the situation again. They almost caught a timing, so nearly, right? Sicko is on that bomb site. He just resets his angle, but Hats does a fantastic job of bailing his AWPer out, giving him a chance to reset. Then he gets the frag to back his rifler up. And well, Big, they're done with this round. Nothing more they're going to try and commit with. The economy not very well established at all for the T side, so it's understandable, especially with how little health Tabson has. They actually have no nades left on these 3 remaining players either, so a site hit doesn't feel viable at all. They're going to fall back. They'll save what they've got. Gives Renegades a nice little booster, though. All 5 players kept alive, always critical. 4 defuse kits kept up. A good amount of armor to be saving across to the next round as well. And well, we called Tabson. We said we wanted to see him stepping up. 147 ADR at the moment. Not something to be sniffed at all. Looking really clean initially. Still, Renegades get their second round on the board on a slightly awkward buy as well. Start to build themselves a little bit of bank into this half.
Yeah, and although we're seeing the buy obviously coming back in around those weapons, there's actually not that much for Big. So it's an I was going to say a big opportunity for Renegades, but I couldn't do that, so I had to try and swap it up. It's an awesome opportunity for Renegades if they take this one to very likely tie us up at 4-4. And then, yeah, suddenly be right back in the game. If you can keep that going, get a good CT side built up. As we said, the map certainly has shifted in its biases. So if you can come out with a strong CT side, then you're looking fantastic. And, well, I like the aggression we're seeing right into the face of Big on second mid. Searson wanted to see if he could catch that mid player, but at this point now needs to worry about being swung on from Boiler as well, so couldn't afford to stick around, and obviously just gets mollied off anyway. So we're back into the exact same position that previous round ended in, with Tizian and Xantar is dead, and with Tabson, Keto, and Searson trying to do something to recover the position, and they don't check up close on Banana. So Malta on that UMP, with a bit of assistance from Inns, is able to go ahead and put it all onto Keto now. As Renegades, I'm liking what we're getting right now. There might be a bit here for Keto. I was going to say could potentially catch that long player, but even then, no, not being given the kill. And they don't need to give him a chance. 5 players surviving here in this round would be amazing for Renegades. Oh, never mind.
Okay, gets a couple before he's traded out. Inns does well to put a stop to the threat before it came too significant. And they actually get the double ult set up as well. So really nice stuff from the Renegades. It did look a little bit concerning, I'll give it to you, as we were, talking up Renegades, starting to sell the story of them building their economy with flawless rounds. Keto does very well, and that's what he can bring to any round, right? That's the concern for Renegades moving forward, is at any point Keto can start doing that to you, start absolutely going on a tear and really piling the pressure on. For now, though, Big take their first tactical timeout. Can't imagine they're thinking too much about this round. Got to be thinking about the one after that, because the money is absolutely broke. And more than likely, we're looking at a full eco here. Alistair going to pick himself up the M4. Double up set up against full ecos. I always just have that little bit of dread Not good on a retake. Potential to be rushed down by some of these pistols if they're not careful. It always just makes me a little apprehensive.
Yeah, especially when you get a few flashes upgraded. Oh, okay, these nades. The nades could do it as well if those ops are taking more aggressive positions. I would imagine they're not going to get too aggressive. There's always the balance of wanting to get them while they're far away from you, but also not wanting to let them have the chance of getting up close. And, well, a nice little nade stack in towards Banana is actually going to end up coming out in favor of Renegades. So the 3 HEs that were bought by Big aren't really going to be finding anything, unfortunately. And, well, now you've already got 3 players pretty heavily tagged up, so I don't think that double up setup is going to be much of an issue. And, well, nice shot from Sicko. Drops the molly, wants to come back in for more, and he will find it, but takes a dink also in return from Xantares, who's low health, sure, but I was going to say sticking around could still be a risk that isn't necessary, but he just makes it happen anyway. Pushes in with the flash. There it is, another round, so 2 rounds now in a row with 5 surviving. And, oh no, sorry, only 3 in the previous one. Was the round before, though, they had lived with 4 or 5, was it? Yeah. So they are building up some money, as we can see. It's obviously not amazing. You can still be broken down in 1 or 2 rounds, but you're not even getting the full buy actually here from Big. They've decided instead to go for the half investment. We're on the T side at the moment. It's 4-4. We can let them get a 5th round, and then we can try and come back and bring ourselves up to 7 or 8, which is where you do start to feel pretty good, of course. And, well, I'm not going to count this one out because we've actually got a lot more nades behind the pistols, including Kevlar.
We've seen it time and time again recently, what Tech9s can do when they're given the opportunity to rush a man down, and they're going for it straight out of long. Alistair and Sicko, though, doing a fantastic job. A pick a piece to open things up. Sicko does miss the next bite at it, but he's got all the information he needs, and the teammates are flooding in support, having a little bit of an awkward time with that AWP. Teammates are here. Tabson, though, able to at least get one, tries to recover the AWP, and Hats does very well to deny. He will grab his hands on it as Searson goes down. But again, 4-on-2, this should just be about cleaning things up at this point. Alistair, nice shot. Tabson removed from the equation. Tizian going to catch one timing through the smoke, but that'll be it. A couple of frags found. They have managed to drop one of the AWPs, and it's not going to be recovered before the end of the round. So decent economic damage coming out from Big, but Renegades, they do deal with it nicely. They use their utility efficiently. You could see Sicko just resetting his angle, giving himself more opportunities to hit those shots. And Renegades take the lead.
Indeed, again, with only losing those couple of players. Obviously, they had to put quite a bit back into the secondary up, but it's only Alistair then who doesn't have enough, so he could be dropped in the next round if needed. But there's only really the 1 buy, so they still can't afford to be losing this round right now. Otherwise, Big, again, could just snatch that lead back very quickly. I like the push we were seeing from Sicko. They're just peeking in on second mid. Didn't have any assistance with it, so wasn't able to stick around for too long. And, well, yeah, look how passive Big are being, apart from that initial player who got a banana. They had 2 over towards the ramp. They had 2 over on second mid. They were obviously waiting for that smoke to go away so they could help out Keto, who had got up towards the wall early on. But he was isolated for such a long time. And look at these spams we're seeing. Tabson got spammed down initially. Then you see the legs of Sirison getting caught on the jump across. And Big are just being picked apart before they can ever really get themselves into a position to make any of these plans that they have play out. They're always already on the back foot after these initial few seconds, it seems. Oh, Sirison, okay, still wins that fight against Sicko, despite the low health. Up the up, that's always the possibility, of course, despite the damage being done. And, well, now we've got the long wrap coming in. 2 players in the pit, though. They have strong positions to at least hold this, try and get a kill or 2, and at the very least waste time, because as we can see, you've already got the rotation of ins coming around through library. Oh, and that nade might even get a finish. It doesn't, but it helps as the M4 spam comes in through the smoke. Okay, ins just takes 3 of them. He couldn't see anything. He just had the info from his teammates that they were wrapping around the long corner at that moment, and a few shots can bursted through to take them all with him. And, yeah, as I said, ins, he done a great job in those initial moments as well, taking those kills, that kill over on Banana rather, and even doing some further damage. So that was his round right there, and he's the man you said had to show up, so it's good to see what he's able to give us in these opening moments. And they've actually forced Big into taking a pause here.
I think Big are starting to come under a little more pressure than they were perhaps expecting. Alistair doing a blinding job on the AWP so far. Pretty much everybody at this point stepping up from Renegades to be counted. Timeout does run dry, and Big, again, looking at that economy across the board, are left in some awkward spots, some big decisions to make moving forwards. Looks like the half-buy is going to be called again. Down to those Deagles. Tabson picks up the utility behind a P250. It's not the best look in the world, but they'll try to find some kind of damage, some kind of purchase with it. I mean, these are tier 1 CS players. They are very capable of doing some serious damage with those deagles, and they're going to try and post a man towards Banana again. Molotov cancelled out by the smoke. Sicko not going to get his opportunity. Very aggressive down mid. Didn't quite catch himself the timing. Nice nade damage coming in from Tabson, but of course that's unconfirmed. They've got no idea that they've just tagged ins down to 60 over on the B bomb site. If they did, I'm sure they'd be looking for the commitment, but instead, just got to hold back, take the apartment's control as it's given to them again. Renegades not looking too proactive, and I don't mind it. These deagles, up close and personal, shotgun spam can do a lot of work. So instead, trying to take those angles where they're more favorable for you, trying to take the ranged engagements, using utility to isolate the 1v1s. That's the way to play the meta as it is. As Big start to queue up towards bracket, looking like the A hit is likely, there is plenty of presence here for Renegades.
Yeah, the 4 men already in place. As always, the pistols can still be dangerous, but at this point, a few kills wouldn't be too big of a deal for Renegades as long as they do get the round win. And, well, I don't even think that's going to happen. There's one from Keto, but as they pile out of the apartments, it is just an absolute wreck right there. Malta with 2. A kill from the player under the balcony as well, I believe, and obviously a little bit of help from the man who was initially around Moto. And it's all on to Keto. 1 kill to his name. It's an ace clutch he's looking for if he wants to win this round with less than 30 seconds. And obviously without the bomb control as well. So it is all about just taking another kill or 2 if possible. And, well, there's one. Malta goes down. At this point, though, Renegades, they don't need to give him any more chances. They can tuck in. They can just let that time play down. Even then, if he manages to get another kill or 2, there just wouldn't really be time to make it work with that bomb plant. And, well, as they bait out a few shots, they decide to just swing it together. Nice shot being hit by Sitko, and yeah, this whole Hats was actually able to get himself, I believe, just the 1. He had done plenty of damage, though, and obviously that made things a bit easier than from Malta as well in the piss. So, yeah, just a strong all-around hold as you'd expect right there. They don't let much go to the pistols. Big back on the buy. It is still a position here where obviously they can grind out under the 2 to 3 rounds, and then you're not in a bad position. But it's now been, I believe, 6 in a row from Renegades. That was a massive turn in their performance as soon as they were able to get onto that second gun round, I believe it was. And they just haven't slowed down. We'll see what Big can do now with the op back out for Sirison as well.
Feels like they need a little bit of a spark to get themselves into this game. Nade damage is good initially. Sicko aggressive, can't quite land his shot. We forced a reset. Do wonder if that damage is going to start coming back to bite them though. Malta already down on 63. Alistair, 80 HP, posted up on the half wall. They're trusting him as a solo warper over on that B-bomb site. Perk of the double AWP setup, you can play towards these heavier stacks over on A, and at least for now, Big looking fairly interested in it. A couple of players probing the apartments, and the utility being lined up for bracket control as well. Deep long smoke countered by the Molotov. Again, that timing really nice for Inns. Slows things down, buys a little more time before that smoke starts to fade. And he's actually going to get a little more aggressive with it as well, trying to take the fight straight to Big. Molotov will finally force him back, and it's actually rerouted Big entirely. Pop Flash trying to force Alistair off his perch, and he's going to have to bail out of this. Rotation surely has to come. He's still on his own, though, posted. If Big could find him, if that frag comes through the B-bomb site, it's wide open, and they're trying to toy with it. Sisson on the boost will find him. That's the opening pick they need, and if Big have got a good read on this situation, they're just going to barrel in. They are. They know that Inns has made that early rotation, and this is a huge call now for Renegades. They're going to stack up over on the A-bomb site, but the bomb will go down on B regardless. Tizian already in a position to try and cut off the rotations. I mean, the money's a little wonky, sure, for Renegades, but I don't see any harm in giving it a go. No, they're not interested at all. They're just going to try and hold on to these 4 rifles.
I mean, I wouldn't have minded a couple of exits, but their actual chance of winning the retake at that point, obviously very slim. So I can understand not going for the round win. A little bit of damage would be nice, and Big might give it to them. I don't think it's too worthwhile here for Big, honestly, going out for this hunt. As you said, there is plenty of money there for Renegades. You said it was a bit iffy, and that's certainly the case for Inns, but he could be dropped over if he didn't even end up losing this weapon. And if they manage to hang on to all 4 of them and get a couple of kills once Big start moving in, then, well, yeah, Big could actually be the team who are more affected by it. So we'll see how much they really want to put into trying to take these weapons away. The players are getting close. I think more so just hoping that someone on Renegades is going to give them the opportunity rather than actually pushing in themselves. And yeah, that's the case. They had them trapped there. It is going to be a 5th on the board, obviously, for Big in a very clean fashion. But Renegades, they do have enough to get that get those drops in rather and come right back out with the full investment, and still with that having loads of money left over in the reserve. So it's going to have to be another couple in a row for Big. by the time the money actually does start running down for Renegades, we'll be going in towards those final rounds, and they'll probably have a little bit of loss bonus as well to supplement the buy. But obviously, they don't want to be letting these final 3 rounds go. Ideally for Renegades, if they come out with a 10-5 half, they're in an absolutely brilliant position. In just kind of a standard one as well, especially, but considering they were down 4-1 at one point, that would even be better. So yeah, it's a rough spot for Big. They need to keep that up, and again, they're being locked out of banana in the start of every single one of these rounds. They've done a good job in the previous one, obviously, to move back over, but the initial moments of the rounds, it seems like Renegades always have a good idea about what's going on, and well, trade on Alistair at least being found, but the secondary op also around this position from Moto is ready for the trade, and well, now you've got Hats and Sicko trying to hold off this A-bomb site being wrapped on from both sides, and they nearly lined up right there, but it's Sirison who actually just decides to shoot through his teammate to make sure they're not going to be giving anything away. And while Hats in the pit, they know he's here, he's trying to survive, and well, it's actually given time for the rest of his teammates now to position themselves, and for Inns to potentially get the drop on Tizian. Okay, it was actually only the dink. Thankfully Hats was able to get the finish, and now they've got Santaris and Sirison rather trapped in on the bomb site in very difficult positions to make work. And although Sirison hits the big shot, it's all on Santaris' back corner. They know he's here. He needs pretty much instant headshots if he wants to make this work, and well, he gets the first, but the jump up from Hats elevates his angle and makes sure the trade is ready. It's a closer round. It's one of the closest we've seen in quite a while, but again, it goes the way of Renegades, and that's all that really matters at this point with their economy, because they can easily buy back in.
Big retake coming out from the Aussie lads. Huge moments there, and Hats just staying alive in that pit. I mean, he only gets 57 damage, as you can see, but he's alive. He's buying time, right? You saw Tizian absolutely obsessed with the idea of killing that pit player. So when the man comes from short, when he finds the dink, suddenly there's a little bit of confusion. He's not sure which angle to hold, which timing to take, and as a result, he gets taken down. And that pretty much opens the door for the entire retake, right? If that man is stuck in towards pit, there's really nothing he can do, and the round is done. But Big, they want to get revenge immediately, sending Keto out top banana. It won't work initially. The Molotov will make it worth his while at the very least. The trade comes in 1-for-1. But again, they haven't actually got anyone else there with him. There's no other control to be gained from this situation. Alistair will actually stick around. Not often you see the AWPer taking the sandbags position, but he's going to try and make it work. That Molly Fades might just start to toy with the idea of a retreat. He's been caught off guard here once before when he's been trusted with the solo AWP on B, so he is going to reset. Fall back onto a slightly more favourable angle. Still fairly aggressive in his peak. Not the traditional CT peak, going a little bit wider. As Big start to line things up. Yet to be a rotation. And that port flash is so good. Tabson just straight around the angle, and it's all on Alistair. Nice pick for the first. He needs a little more though, and Searson's going to find the trade. Smoke goes down for the plant. Big might want to give this a go though. You can see Renegades already starting to make the rotations in. Only 2 rounds left in the half. They've got the finances. They're going to give this one a roll of the dice. Pushing through construction, Malta will spearhead the charge. Good after-plant positions already, though, for the T side. And still a HE and a Molotov potentially for that bomb if the clock gets down low. No utility at all for Renegades. They're trying to get anything. Searson, though, opens things up. Sicko goes down, and now that man spotted in construction. This should be a done deal. Searson, another big frag. Last man on the off angle. Might be able to find exits, but it's a missed shot. Malta had the opportunity to at least take the AWPer down. Can't quite land it. Big dragging themselves, kicking and screaming back into this first half.
Yeah, and we said maybe going into the last round you would see the buy impacted a little bit for Renegades, but even then, no, they're able to make it work. A couple weaknesses with the nades lacking on Hats because he had to drop over, I believe. Even then, he's only lacking the Molotov and a kit. Other than that, the rifle of smoke and a couple of flashes. So yeah, really good investment at least for Renegades to come back, but it does seem like now these past couple of rounds, B has been a big issue. They're still doing a good job of holding the early on banana control. It's just actually the bomb site itself that they're really struggling with, despite being able to run down time and such. There we go though. Sicko decides to take the peek in on mid. He's like, do you know what? This is when things were really going well for us, when we were able to get those initial picks and then fall back into this much more passive playstyle just to have the advantage to go off of. And well, you can see even when they weren't able to get those, when they would normally sit back, it would be trades and it would be close rounds. So maybe that 1 kill early is what they do need to try and put themselves at least 1 more on the board. And if they don't, the Big get 7 here, then they're actually still in a really good position. I think the German side could be happy then. But here we go. It's actually going to be a quick A hit. Peek in on mid from Alistair as he hears the footsteps, and that was actually the bomb. They've got a molly down on top of it as well now, making it incredibly difficult to recover, but I don't even think that's going to matter as all of the frags come in favor of Renegades, and there it is. They do manage to get themselves the 9-6 score at the halftime. A fantastic recovery from the initial 4-1 that they were facing against as well. And well, guys, we're going to find out now in the second half if they can get the win here on their map choice or not, but first, we do have to send it over to a bit of a break.
Malta has truly its finger on the digital pulse. Malta, game on! With 300 days of beautiful sunshine across the calendar year, it's the ideal location to take a load off, relax, and enjoy. Our World Heritage and UNESCO sites showcase the oldest megalithic temples in Europe, the breathtaking capital of Valletta, the silent city of Medina, and so much more. It's gamification in real life. Everything about Malta, namely its architecture, local village feasts, basilicas, entertainment scene, and multiple iconic film sets, make it truly unique. And with a vibrant video game studio ecosystem, major iGaming companies, tech startups, and esports companies hosted across the island, coupled with a passion for innovation, Malta has truly its finger on the digital pulse. Malta, home of gaming excellence.
All right, everyone, welcome back. It's the second half. It's actually the pistol round already. They've decided to charge down mid. I like this from Big. They lost a lot of momentum as that first half went on, and they just want to get right in the faces of Renegades and try and impose some dominance in these early moments, and it's going incredibly well as Malta is now left alone on an island, as his name might say to you. What the hell? They're giving him chances right now. That USP taking heads. He continues to fight down mid. I was thinking at that point in the 1-on-2 with lots of time to work, he might have reconsidered the approach, but he was just feeling it after those initial 3, I suppose. A nice try from Malta. That was kind of the most you could expect right there in a near impossible 1-on-5 from him. But Big, I like what we're getting there. The confidence to push straight down mid. It's a bit of a contrast to how they kind of slowed down on their T side there as well.
Can't ask a lot more of Malta, can you? 3 kills, desperately trying to get it done. There was a lot of damage on the board as well. I was surprised Big were giving him those fights, right? Keep playing those headshot angles. He's going to punish you at some point. A little unfortunate for Renegades that, of course, losing that bomb. If Malta has it on his back, that's a plant after plant situation. Maybe they can get something done, but already Big, again, trying to get in the faces of this Renegades roster. Aggression initially down Banana, followed up down mid, and actually punished for it. Sicko does well. Gets himself the frag, and he's waiting for the man through the smoke as well. Tizian, though, gets the better of him. Finally traded down. And Big, I think they might have bitten off a little more than they can chew at this point. Malta toying with the peek out of apartments. It is the 3-on-3, and with Keto down on 24 HP, currently cutting a very lonely figure on B, and Malta actually double dink on the Tech 9. He's opened things up over on A. He's going to swing with the FAMAS, will be punished for it. But they're not heading towards A. Instead, it's B, and Keto with just 24 HP, as we said. That MP7 needs to go huge. He finds the first, drops down, resets the angle. Alistair not able to find the refrag just yet. He's going to jump across and actually whiffs his shot as well. This is all buying time for the rotations. He'll finally go down, but Tabson through the smoke is looking to contest this immediately. Alistair smokes himself off, tries to buy a little time, resets towards the new boxes, takes the fight. Tech 9 doing work. Both players low on HP. Just a smoke and a molly remaining, and it's Tabson who wins it out. The MP9 spam just not quite enough. Well, Big, they're taking it down to the wire. I can understand wanting to assert yourselves in these rounds, but that was far too close.
Oh yeah, I mean, some fantastic shots by Tabson over on A there initially, and then Keto to hold off a little bit on B to let Tabson be the one to put an end to it, of course. But I mean, they were just up against the force buy. There wasn't all that much for Renegades to work with, and it comes down to only a single player surviving. So they really need to make up for it in this round by ideally dropping nobody, or otherwise they're going to have a bit of trouble going into that first round with weaker weapons and without the ability to rebuy if they were to lose it, which would never be fun. Keto, okay, risky peek. He gets insta-dinked. Couldn't really see too much either, I don't believe, with the smoke from the nades, and well, now Tabson taking a bit of damage himself, just needs to drop that molly. Doesn't want to give access to the bomb site and bomb plant over to them this early on, and well, a nice nade. They're chipping away at the health, and yeah, there's no more trouble. Hats actually nearly got himself a kill on the Glock right there as Tabson swung in. Much better though. They only lose one player in that round. It was one of the MP9s as well, I believe, that goes down, so they can go ahead and upgrade him straight on towards a rifle, or well, drop the MP9 as you see there from Sears, and he can go straight onto the op. So it leaves them in a good position for this first gun round, but they've not really got that bonus round. So if they were to lose this one, again, Renegades could just start running away with a couple rounds in a row to get their own momentum and confidence going. So for Big anyway, it's not one that you want to see them losing.
Definitely hasn't been a clean start to the CT side. I mean, Tabson even taking the early dink there on the 4A1S. Put under the pressure by Renegades. Just not quite able to find the conversion. That Molotov really saves his life. And now, as you said, a little bit lacking in the firepower department. The utility going to come through to clear the early angles. Big have taken banana control, but off the back of it, Renegades are just going to go quickly. Trying to take short, and Searson missed shot on the AWP. The opportunity passes him by, and that pressure going to keep on mounting. Renegades posting Malta in the apartments. They actually slow things down, ever so slightly aware that they have left banana open. There is a potential flank en route, and especially when you know the CT side's a little lacking in the firepower, right? An MP9 on the board, maybe that's going to try and play more proactively, but clear out will come through. They'll discover that it's clear, and they're still leaving a couple of players posted for now in case any re-aggression comes in from Big Clan. The smoke should give the game. With the bomb still top of mid, Renegades very split in their options at the moment. 4 smokes remaining to try and plan out some kind of an execute. Again, Keto being trusted alone on this B-bomb site, again with just an MP9. You can't imagine that's the kind of firepower Big want to be leaving solo in towards this B-bomb site. Inz is going to go and have a little bit of an explore. That's a beautiful pop flash. Alistair going to be punished eventually. Tizian does find himself that pick, but over on B, trouble starts to brew. Inz has snuck his way over towards the pool. The rotation has come in, but that CT smoke actually makes life very difficult for Tabson. There's not a lot he can do, and the rotation has been called. Inz gets the pick, and now Keto, again, just that MP9 on this bomb site to do it all. Inz surely will clear this out, and he'll find the headshot as well. Clean as you like. Renegades, they cut the time low, but they find the frags, and as Inz takes Tizian out through the smoke, I think Big honestly got to be looking at the save again.
I've got to agree. Get the save in here. You can actually drop over a bit. Tizian can just about scrape together a buy for himself. Obviously, though, they're only getting 1,400, so even then, Tizian's money won't really give him much on top of the rifle unless he's willing to sacrifice down in order to get those nades. So it's a tough spot for Big to be in. If you can have Renegades just getting back into their winning ways as they did once they woke up on that first half, then, well, yeah, they'd be looking fantastic to take Inferno here. Obviously, it's the map they've been favouring in all of their matchups, yet to get a win on it, but they had some pretty close results throughout some of those matches at least. That's why they were so set in stone on picking it. I think went double digits pretty much all of the times. Yeah. Lost it in an overtime versus Heroic, 12-16 versus OG, 11-16 versus Call. So it's clearly one that they can play. But as we mentioned, they hadn't had a lot of time together. But now they've kind of got those games to look at to try and iron out some of those mistakes. And we're definitely seeing a better Renegades here. As we said, there's obviously not really much on the line. There's maybe a small chance one of them could hop up in towards that 4th seed, I think you were saying, so you'll probably know more specifics about that. But it is just a match here to try and end out the season on a high note, even without the chances of getting into those playoffs.
Go. Looking for it. Very aggressive up banana. Just straight running it. W. Left mouse button if he had a rifle of any description, but instead the AWP stays scoped up to try and take that control. Big, interestingly, trying to play this a little more proactively as well. Searson is posted in towards the apartments, looking for the peek down middle, and oh, he's been red, but he still finds the flick. The dink comes in, but just not quite able to connect the frag, and with the damage on the board, Keto will find another. He's going to be put under pressure here, but the spray down's good. The bomb is dropped top banana, and that is the round surely done. Malta will try and look for the 1v4, try and look for anything he can get out of this round. Keto insta-dink. The frag does come through for Malta regardless, but with just 15 HP and a minute left on the clock, there's really not a lot more he can do here. I'm sure he'd like to keep his hands on that AK-47, but there's so much time left, so many angles, and Tizian, he'll take advantage. MP9 finds the frag. Big level things out at 10 apiece, and this is the worry for Renegades. At any moment, they can start showing up on the big clan side of things. A big round coming out for Keto. You spoke about him before, a player who can have these huge moments. And once again, Renegades find themselves on the back foot, down on the pistols, looking to pick up utility.
Yeah, I was saying it to you, I used to love when he was on alternate because he was the type of player that would be kind of chill for a round or two, and then he'd be like, no, I was too quiet the last round, so I'll just go ahead and get a 4K this one. And he's definitely more consistent on this lineup, and that's to be expected with all the fragging power and the star power around him. But he's still just such a strong player, as is everyone on Big. They're always fun to watch. And look at Tizian, not the man you expect to be going aggressive down mid. He's more of that kind of support role. He's always there to be relied on, but he decides to just charge down. He's like, a couple of these kills are going to be mine, lads. Sorry, want some eco frags. Get some help then from Keto, who runs through the banana smoke as well, and that's going to be a clean one for Big with not a single casualty, and I don't even think any damage was done. I didn't really see any shots even being connected, so pretty straightforward, you've got to say. Renegades, though, back onto the buy here. The ops available for Sicko in this case. They've got all of the nades they could ask for, and it's pretty important for them to get going here again in this round. Obviously, they had a bit of a slower start than the first half, went down 4-1, and were still able to come alive. They're in a bit of a similar position right now, and they do once again need to make that happen. And what's the plan? Are we going to see aggression from Big? Doesn't look like it. 3-man over towards B, so I guess that mid-aggression in the previous round was more to condition Renegades into being a bit more cautious about it in the early moments of this round, while instead they're just going to be taking banana with 3 players.
Trying to take that control away. The deep smoke means they don't actually have to stick around and contest it. Renegades not too interested in the fast-paced retake, and the second smoke dropped by Keto will buy a little more time. Again, Big really do seem to anchor around this one man over on that B-bomb site. This time they've actually rotated Keto out entirely and popped Searson there. I much prefer that. The AWP being alone on B feels a lot more viable than an M4, or even in some cases we've seen Big trusting an MP9 to solo hold the B-bomb site, especially when it's so difficult to retake. That does feel like a huge risk, but a nice call here. The rotation's in early. 50 seconds left on the clock. Still plenty of utility to slow this hit down for Big Clan. And while Renegades, they're looking to up the pace. Smoke comes in, trying to cut the library out of the equation, but Xantara is aggressive on short. Keto there on long as well. The pincer movement works perfectly. And as Tizian starts to mop things up, that Molotov buys time for the rotation. Searson will reset his angle. And Renegades, they are caught in a bind here. 5-on-2 to try and get whatever they can done. The smoke, awkward timing for Searson, but still goes in for the pick. And the last man won't avoid him. Sicko trying to strafe in the air. That is not going to work against an AWPer like Searson, mate. 12-10. Big restoring their lead. And there's some problems for Renegades now.
I feel like Searson probably hits those shots more often than the ones when his opponents are standing still. Yep. And he hits those pretty consistently as well, because he is just a player you can rely on most of the time. You said obviously hasn't had the greatest season here, but Yeah, I mean, in this game is showing up 18-9 at the moment. You've got pretty much everyone contributing on a relatively even level. You've actually got Santair's kind of just chilling. I mean, he's the one who's not showing up in fragging, and you're still able to get yourself into such a tremendous starter on the CT side. You just know that's a good sign. And well, nice shot by Sirison. The nade around bottom of mid as well, I believe it was. Able to take one. It was actually bottom banana, sorry. And with pretty much all of the other frags going the way of Big, there's not much to be done. Again, Malta, for the third or fourth time, I believe, being left alone in a near impossible 1-on-4. He's stolen away an AK, so maybe he can get a bit done with this. And the economy isn't all that crazy at the moment for Big, so if he can keep that modest by getting a couple of kills, that could help them with pulling back a couple of rounds to break Big down and then suddenly have themselves in this map once again. But at the moment, Big, heading up 13-10 most likely. And things are getting a bit out of control here for Renegades on their own map choice. Oh, nice shot on Keto. Does have a good idea there could be another player close right here. Was waiting for it and nearly even caught the mid-peak. As unfortunately, it is eventually Tabs in there to catch the timing coming in from Banana himself. But yeah, a little bit being done by Malta. One kill at least was found. Obviously, that wasn't their full buy. So this is where, well, they're getting one of their last chances really to get their feet back on the ground on Inferno.
This was the map where if you saw an upset happening, it had to start for Renegades. This is the map where consistently they've been able to draw level with teams. They've been able to take teams to overtimes. You know, great performance against Heroic, as you said. OG, Complexity, those were close games, closely fought games, and it was key moments that just went against them. And once again, it feels like the exact same. Had a great start, but just starting to slow things down now, and the utility from Big punishing them. Hats down to 45 before he's seen a single man on Banana. And Big, they want to keep this aggression going as well. Tabson, the molly to flush his man out. He tries to escape, but there's nothing Hats can do. Turns tail, tries to run away from it, but it's never going to get away from Tabson in that situation. The man advantage found once again for Big, and it's conditioning Renegades almost to try and hit this A bomb site. They've got no control, no information over towards B, and Big know it. They can commit the rotation. Tabson will come around. Keto, second AWP in hand for the first time on this CT side, can hold B on his own. Renegades, they are walking right into the stack. Nice damage at least. Searson goes down to 2. Maybe, just maybe, Alistair can catch a timing here. Tabson goes down and they might want to go straight back into this A bomb site. Keto's taken out the flank. They have to. 50 seconds left. No utility to really commit to going anywhere else. All three players stuck on short for now as Zantara is trying to stay alive, trying to buy time in that pit. Takes the dink through the wall. And Searson on just 2 HP finds himself the shot. Zantara is still alive and kicking. It's just a crossfire. They can't break Renegades. And Sicko's left 1v4 to try and do it all. Not going to happen. Searson, 2 HP, 2 kills. Easy as you like. And Big have 14.
Yeah, I said that was one of the last opportunities for Renegades to get going here, and, well, it is the truth. No bomb plant going down, sadly, so they don't have enough for the full investment to come out. So deciding pistols and Kevlar is going to be it. It's Inferno, so we know these weapons can do a lot. You can get up in the faces of your opponents relatively easily, especially if you're able to beat the nade timings, for example, on Banana if they have a good spawn for that. So we'll see if that's the plan or not. And, well, if they do go over towards Banana, there's only one player there right now. The issue is everyone else is on their way to B. They're just doing it through mid. And just second mid, apparently, as well. Is this going to be expected? I mean, Searson needs to hold off at least a few seconds, but he's got the nades to do so they're just going to be flanked out. Inns actually gets the first of those players, and a decent trade by Alistair eventually comes back in, but sandwiched in between those frags was a massive 3K from Keto, and Tabson is also there to go ahead and put an end to it. He was low health, so there was the chance there for Malta to take that kill. Suddenly it could have been a 1-on-2, so it was a little bit risky, but at this point they're up 15-10. Big are willing to take those risks, and it's getting in the minds of Renegades right now, who again are probably going to have to be cautious at least slightly of that early aggression now as they come onto their final gun round.
Big are just in Renegades' minds at the moment. 15-10. This feels like another story of what if. Renegades look so solid for so long, really putting up a fight on their CT side, but Big have just gone up a level. Having said that, Alistair does well. Searson goes down. He is one of these AWPers who likes to be very proactive in his peaks, and he's been punished for it this time. First time in a while, Renegades have had themselves a solid man advantage to work with, and Big actually scrambling a little bit. Rotations not quite where they'd like them. Tizian trying to bait any kind of shot out. It's not going to work. Inns monolithic as he takes out the man, and again, Big are trying to scramble men into this bomb site. It's Zantares completely alone. I mean, if there's anyone you want, sure, it's Zantares, but he's got so many angles to worry about. The short clears coming in. Tabson does well to get one. The dink through the wall will be converted on by Zantares, and suddenly Renegades back into this 3-on-3 with players on the site. Nice shot from Malta, but Tabson's still alive and kicking, brings it back into the 2-on-1. Keto, AWP in hand. May walk straight into the crosshairs, though. Alistair there for it, and it's a missed shot. Half an opportunity gone. Keto still on that deagle, still trying to take the fight with the pistol initially. Knows he needs a pick somewhere to really get him into this round. Alistair's clearing the possibility of long, and he's actually isolated. 1D comes in. Hats does well. For a split second there, Keto was looking like he was on for it, but Hats is there to bail his IGL out. Get Renegades around on this T side. It has been hard fought. It has not come easy, but they've bought themselves a little more time on their map pick.
Indeed. I mean, 4 in a row on the T side of Inferno does not seem all that impossible, especially if they are able to get this one. That suddenly breaks the economy of at least 3 of those players over on Big. You'd see Tizian actually being a little bit low. Keto definitely wouldn't have enough. Sanders could probably strike one together, but it would still likely have to be that one eco coming in, and suddenly Renegades could close in that gap. And well, obviously, we do need them to actually win out this round here. First of all, they do lose the initial frag to the op over on Banana, but an instant trade being pulled back puts them in a pretty strong 4-on-4. And well, if they can still find Tabson, who's sticking around on Banana, I was going to say maybe even B could be open for the taking, but no, it is going to be Tabson around the smoke, taking the peak and snatching it alive. And Tizian, with just W being held up through those apartments, is going to go ahead and force Renegades now into a 2-on-4 that they need to recover to keep themselves alive in their own map choice. And they're even being flanked on mid, which, well, Alistair hits the flick on. So there's a little bit of a chance back into this round for Renegades. And there's a bigger one. Alistair gets the second on the Sirison. Chances are being given over by Big right now that just don't need to be.
A little bit of sloppiness, and it's given Renegades a way back into this round. 4-on-2 into the 2-on-2, and as a result, the CT defense is going to be split. Not going to group. Tizian will post solo over towards this A-bomb site. Can't really ask more than a 1-for-1 from him at this point. Trying to throw that flash towards long, faking the idea that he's coming through. And actually, he might catch himself a timing here. He's starting to push up short. He should have both of them lined up. It's a whiff initially, and Hats does punish him. A little bit of sloppiness. Those little mistakes can make a big difference. 1v1 now. And we've seen Hats clutch these sort of rounds out before. Tabson will make the rotation. AK recovered. Does have a Molotov to clear out at least one of these angles, and Hats looking for the triple kill to keep his team in it. Has absolutely no utility, no flashes, no smokes, no way to force Tabson off his peaks. Going towards long though, not a great angle for this graveyard player. Molotov going to be lined up by Tabson. That starts to clear out some of the default spots on site, some of the more awkward ones. He's recovered a smoke as well. Pops that down onto the bomb. Very open plant though, and it's going to make it impossible. Hats finds the clutch. And Renegades, they keep themselves alive another round. The economy from Big starting to look a little speculative as well. Keto, only 2 grand to his name. Nobody really able to drop him either. Tabson maybe can, but then it's no AWPs at all. Searson skims one if he wants to, loses the utility as a result. Renegades, they're starting to make a game of this. 3 rounds in it, and Big actually called a half-buy. Down onto those deagles once again.
Yeah, they actually had a slightly better economy than it was looking to be, just due to getting a few kills and stuff, but it's still a safer approach here to take that 1 eco for sure, come back in this next round and try and make the gun round work. If they don't, then it's going to be real dangerous. Then they wouldn't really have a lot of money left over, potentially going in towards that final round. So we're going to see how, of course, it goes for Big, whether they can do anything even here with the pistols, because they do have the basic nades behind them. Smokes, especially, if you can conserve those till the later moments of the round here on Inferno, can make things pretty dangerous then. At least making it viable for those deagles to play up close and around them. Oh, with the boost on mid. That was definitely heard, right? Yeah, I think Alistair should be aware. Peeks in with an idea. It's a possibility. And, well, will actually manage to catch the shot onto Tabson. Chances were certainly given. And, well, there's another couple of players around here with the Deagles that I don't think Renegades want to be challenging too much. With the man advantage already, and with noticing there was 2 more players around quad, and with the full control of Banana, it looks like they have made the decision to bring it back in this direction. But just as Tizian is going to push through Apps himself and go ahead and snatch up a frag, decides to keep on fighting second mid, which will cause him to go down. But it looks like they're still going to take that risk to go ahead and stack up B, believing that that's where Renegades are going to bring it. And it is the truth. That is where the hit's coming true. Keto, before the smoke blooms, is when the initial peak comes in. Sirison having some chances there, as he doesn't initially connect now and is going to be forced to fall back off and likely concede the bomb plant unless this boost can get something done, and it cannot.
For a split second there, that was concerning. Alistair's still on 9 HP. There's definitely still a risk in this round, but as he starts to clear up Xantares, Searson left with the 1v3. Limited bullets in the Deagle. Connects the first. There's damage on the board here, but Sicko's going to shut down the threat. Much, much closer than Renegades would have ever wanted it to be, but they'll take anything they can get at this point. A 13th round their way, the gap at just 2. Overtime looking more and more possible, and I mean, Big are going to throw the kitchen sink at it now. Absolutely everything going into this round. If it goes south, overtime feels like a real possibility. Searson, not sure about buying a Zeus on the last round. Got $950 left, mate. Maybe pick up a defuse kit instead? I mean, it's a bold call, sure, but let's see if he can make it work, I guess.
I guess he probably wants the 950 towards the next gun round if needed. Well, the next round rather if needed if they lose this one. But as you said, they've only got the 1 kit. So if Tabson loses that in an awkward position where it can't really be retrieved and then suddenly they need a retake to happen, it could come back to bite them. We'll see. Obviously, overall the weaponry is pretty strong. Nades, decent, not all that great. Searson, a man who's been playing pretty well so far on this AWP, looking like he's going to have some chances pretty soon, but no, Renegades, nice flash over to take him away from that angle. He was actually the only player for Big as well, facing in on mid, so that's going to be Renegades fully taking that control. But as the frags actually start to come in, as the fights start to take place, it does go in favour of Big, at least in terms of the health remaining quite heavily in their favour, rather. You have Sicko tagged up heavily, you have Hats down on 16 health. The only thing is, Renegades do pretty much have a free B bomb site. As I say that, though, Tabson decides to push back in. I was thinking he was probably going to give it up. Never mind, he wants the fight. And he takes 2 frags, 2 headshots with him before eventually falling to Sicko. But you've also got Malta probing out on A. So right now, Renegades are just taking the challenge pretty much everywhere. The only thing is they know the bomb is on B. They did spot that on Sicko's back when he got that previous trade. And they're going to trade places. Oh, this is crazy. They have no idea. Tizian walks through on mid. Malta's going to walk around long. And suddenly it's going to be Searson who's going to get backstabbed on B. Oh, he's actually watching for it. I think he knows it's a possibility, or I think it was more so curious of that player pushing in through the CT spawn. But it does mean he's watching kind of the correct area to catch Malta here as he comes around. Wasn't actively posted on anymore. You might even see the Zeus. No, never mind. The shot is going to be missed. Oh, this round, man.
This round is chaos. How has that ever happened? Has to hit that shot, Searson, misses it and puts Tizian into the 1v2. Not a player known for the highlight reel moments. I mean, he can certainly bring them out when he needs to, but looking at that economy, looking at the situation for Big, they can't afford to commit to it. They can't do anything about this. They're going to have to fall off and hope that they can pull something off. Renegades, I said they've been a team of whats and ifs and buts and maybes, but this time they are pulling it back. They are making it happen. They're not happy to have another disappointment, another maybe we could have made this happen. They're trying to take it the distance against Big, and they only need 1 more round at this point to do so. Saving an AWP and an AK-47, economy going to be good across the board, and just look at the cash for Big. There is very little to work with for a CT side on Inferno there.
This is insane, though. Whenever Renegades seem like they're locked out of a round, they're able to pull it back. The most kind of stand out of those rounds definitely would have been that 4-on-2 that we seen earlier on when Alistair kind of popped off with the... yeah, it was Alistair, I believe, on the AWP to pull back a couple of kills. And then obviously that's what kind of started this whole comeback now that they're on. But yeah, Big, they've got to be kicking themselves that they haven't already put an end to this one. As well, we mentioned the bye was going to be pretty dreadful here to try and take it to the overtime, or well, rather to stop it from going to the overtime. My apologies. And it's only going to be 1 from Keto this time on the mid-aggression. You even had a frag around Banana, I believe that was, and all of that aggression is being denied for Big. It looks like we're pretty much guaranteed an overtime right now, unless Tabson and Searson pull off some miraculous plays, and they're not able to make that happen. It's Searson left on 18 health. I think they even know he was around mid because they've done some pretty good damage to him, so they are just going to run this straight into B, get the bomb down, and this is an impossible retake, let's be real.
18 HP, smoke spam, very viable. A little bit of utility, if you want to believe, but the flank already starting to come through as well. More smokes, more denial. Alter, if he just spams through this a little bit, he's got his man, and he knows he's in this corner. He'll find it. 15 all Renegades. I want to believe. Thank you for making me believe. Overtime on the cards, and we're going to throw it to a very quick break. When we're back, we'll have to see if they can make it around. Renegades. Renegades dragging it back to take it to overtime. I mean, there were so many moments there, so many opportunities for Big to shut it down. They've built themselves a huge opportunity here, Renegades.
Yeah, absolutely. That 4-on-2, I think especially, was kind of the standout for me. The fact that they were able to get a chance to come back into that. You had the mid aggression, which was denied at that point. You're like, okay, still a 3-on-2. They can probably still manage to get this one done. But they kept Syrison facing down mid. Suddenly it's back into 2-on-2, and you see it being played out and won by Renegades. And that seemed to light a fire under their ass. I'm just going to say it, because it did. They came alive immediately after that one. They had been incredibly flat on the T side up until that point. So I don't know, Big. They've got to be kicking themselves. Obviously, it's not over yet. Maybe their experience will pay off here now that they're in the overtime. But I don't know. I'm kind of behind Renegades at this point after how they ended that half. It really does seem like they're getting into their form.
You got to get aboard the hype train, haven't you, Renegades? They've been here so many times. They've been close on Inferno so many times. They've even been to overtime on Inferno in this season of Pro League. Heroic were the team to deny them this time. Let's see if Big can do the same. Full buy, of course. 16 KOTs. Plenty of cash flying around on either side of the equation. And for our less well-versed viewers, 19 the magic number in rounds. Interesting to see what Renegades can do. And if Big can bring the CT side back, it's a little touched upon topic, but starting on that side you just lost out on can be so detrimental. Has gets one, but Quito responds through the wall to take him down. Big needed that trade as well. B-bomb site has looked vulnerable pretty consistently, posting Quito there a lot, alone with sometimes very limited firepower. It's left them in an awkward spot a few times now, as Renegades will start to take the bracket control, will start to make something happen. Re-aggression from Quito, and he's punished. He finds the leg, but nothing more, and Inns knows. Off the back of that frag, the B-bomb site is completely open. They know Quito is the man who is always left on his own. Alistair isolated though, and Xantares peeking out will actually find a frag. Nice trade. And with that B-bomb site open completely and utterly, I mean, what do Big Clan do? 3-on-2 again to try and get into this retake. Xantares still lurking around that A-bomb site after he finds the rotation, finds the man who's meant to cut things off. It is a double AWP take from the T side. If there was anybody here, I'd say maybe Big have a chance. Nice bait of the shot from Searson, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Bomb goes down despite the Molotov. And well, with the economy, they can afford to give it a go, Big, but how do they even get into this one?
Well, hopefully with some incredible shots. That's how they're going to need to kick it off. Syrison and Xantares, two very capable fraggers, so it is scary names for Renegades to be up against, but they have strong positions. Syrison actually does spot the offer moving back in towards Dark, but didn't expect Sicko up close on the angle, and, well, pretty much simultaneously with that kill, you do have Inns going ahead and take it down Xantares. So Renegades not only managing to take it up to this position to get it into the overtime, they then even managed to get the first round in that overtime. It feels like so often you see a team struggling to get the last round and then managing to get it as soon as the overtime starts. Yep. We don't see that this time though, so that could maybe be a little bit worrying, but we also mentioned it's Inferno. You would expect Renegades here on their T side to be aiming towards 2 of those 3 rounds, so if Big can come out with at least 1, then they're still in a decent position. Or they could come out with 2 if they manage to get this and the round behind it as well. So we'll see what they're able to do, rather. You do have the double up setup now in play between Syrison and Quito.
Yeah, 16k OTs.
Oh, that nade.
Definitely make them viable, but as you said, nade over the top, going to bring Keto down. 50 HP. And that really makes it awkward for him as the anchor over on this B-bomb site can't really afford to play that role any longer. Nice pot flash. Xantares and Searson fully blind, but it doesn't matter. It's over on B. All the action. In's fully blinded gets one. Spray transfer for the second. And once again, Big are being found out on that B-bomb site. Malta gets one. Trades are starting to come through for Big Clan. But another 3v2 retake over towards this B-bomb site, and they're still so conscious of a potential third man looking for those lurk frags. There won't be anyone there for Renegades. Still plenty of util for the Aussies as well, just to completely lock Big out the equation. Searson, a speculative spam through the smoke, now trying to elevate over the top of it with the boost. Not going to happen. I think this is largely frustration now for Big Clan. They've spent so much time here. The second smoke coming in completely denies them. And it'll be the save. It's going to be Renegades on 17. Their T side keeps on firing. Searson will at least take down Hats. They want to try and take these AWPs away, and you can't blame them. Plenty of cash available, of course, on that T side. So they're going to try and hunt, try and make this as difficult as possible. Searson shoulder peeks, bait him out, and he is taken down. We'll have the money to reinvest, but more a psychological advantage than anything is Renegades. 2 rounds looking for a flawless half here.
Yeah, if they can come through here and manage to take overtime in a very clean fashion, you've always got to be worried then with a map like Dust 2 coming up next, one that you can thrive on if you have that confidence going, and once you do start kind of building up rounds, it can be hard to knock a team off of that position. So it's always scary. We said we were favouring Big coming into the series, but if Renegades take their own map choice here, then I don't think Dust 2 is a given for Big by any means, even if they are the favoured team on it. So this is going to be an interesting series. Whether Big can step back up now or not is still the question that we're posing, of course. And, well, a 4-man B stack in the initial moments. They don't decide to do a lot with it. A little bit of utility being tossed down. Obviously, Renegades didn't initially even challenge it, so they took no damage around there. Instead, it was actually Malta who got naded underneath the apartments by a very solid nade. I'm not even sure who threw that. Either way, a bit of damage at least is connected in favour of Big, and, well, Tizian committed in towards the corner now as they push out mid. I was going to say he had absolutely no help. No one on the close long corner, no one up close on short. It was actually Searson, as we can see, back basically towards the bomb site, and even then, when he finally gets an opportunity, it's with a flash coming over for Alistair to take the peak and take him away from the angle and even do a bit of damage with it. So Renegades are doing a fantastic job at just slowly inching Big back off into the bomb sites and chipping away at them as they do so.
I love this call from Renegades. Molotov will start to split them a little bit, but this B-bomb site has been a problem time and time again for Big Clan. Get the pick on A, rotate around and try and cause havoc on B. Searson does deal with the lurk, but look at the rotation. Slow, so slow for the CT side. And as Hats takes out Keto once again, Renegades just crowbarring this B-bomb site open. Sicko top of the smoke will deal with Tabson. And I mean, Big, they've got to give this a go. It's 4-on-2. They've got to try, though. Last round of the OT half. Renegades looking to make it flawless and already posted in some fantastic afterplant positions. Malta going to be very difficult to clear out here as they're starting to swing on through. Takes the spray down. Can't land the shot, but the damage is good. No real damage on these Renegades, boys. And Xantares, well, we've seen some hero plays, and as his teammates taken out, we need one. 1v3. It's not going to happen. It's Renegades. Flawless half on OT. You could not ask any more from them, and they have got a huge opportunity to take this now.
Oh yeah, fantastic position. We said Big really needed at least one round there on their CT side. Fortunately, they were unable to achieve it for themselves, and now it's Renegades who only need that one to put an end to it. The best we can see for Big is that they managed to take us into that second overtime, and we haven't actually seen them really working off of the back foot yet, because they even had that initial start on the first half, going up 4-1, and then in the second half as well, also it was Renegades who also went down in those initial moments before obviously waking up once we seen that clutch come in to take it back to the overtime. So yeah, I'm scared to see Big being the ones now who have to actually fight in from behind. It hasn't been done yet throughout this map. That nade doesn't do that much damage. I thought it was going to do a bit more. They did just tuck in the corner, but look at the aggression we're even seeing through apps right now from Renegades. They are swapping things up constantly from each round, and at the moment, Big, they've got everyone around banana, so they don't even realize that this info is being taken. The question is what the Renegades do with it, because for the moment, they're sticking in these positions, maybe waiting for Big to move over. So they haven't got a rotation ready towards B to help out Inns and Malta quite yet.
Straight hit into the B-bomb site, going to come through. Inns, though, through the smoke, gets the first. Malta pot flashes himself in. Big are committed at this point, and the rotation's flooding in from the CT side. Big look like they want to bail. They want to reset this entirely. They're queued up. They're waiting for it, but Malta's going to take the opportunity with open arms. A second as well. Tabson goes down. Renegades, they are in the perfect position, and Inns has rotated in for one more. Big, they have not managed to get on their feet at all. Renegades 19 to 15.